I'm Eddie Knoell.
And I'm Tom Knoell.
Welcome, everyone. We're the Mortgage Brothers team right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And today's podcast is about the CARES Act, the coronavirus bill that the Congress, Senate passed, President Trump signed a couple days ago. And we're talking about how this CARES Act affects mortgages, people with, homeowners, real life homeowners.
Right. So because of COVID-19, the coronavirus, our economy has taken a huge hit. And as a result, probably one of the quickest acts that's ever been passed through the House ever. 99
senators signed.
Unbelievable.
For it. And I don't think that has... anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I can't remember when that last time that ever happened.
And so the quickest and probably the biggest in magnitude in terms of monetary scale.
Yeah.
So absolutely unprecedented. So an unprecedented act in a very unprecedented time that we have, all in a very short period of time. I mean, literally.
Time is going by so...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it feels like 6 months have gone by and it's only been a month.
Right. Okay. So see this beard?
Yeah.
I actually started growing, I think, about 5 days or maybe like 5 or 6 days after it all started. Like, this isn't that old.
That's your new mask.
This is my new. It's like my COVID acknowledgement. Like if I had a breast awareness pin.
Yeah.
The little pink breast cancer awareness pin. This is my COVID.
I like it.
Mask.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the whole point is that literally this is unprecedented in terms of timing, that we're sitting here talking about it within days of the pandemic happening. So one of the first things we're going to do is, we are by no means experts at all in this subject matter. We simply did a little bit of research in order to deliver the information to you from the basis of all of our current clients and future clients on how this CARES Act affects you as a mortgagor.
That's right. So if you have a mortgage out there, this podcast is going to be helpful, especially if you're wondering what's in the law, how does it affect you?
Yeah, how does it affect me? Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And we've already gotten the calls. What are the calls like? Hey, Tom. Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Do I have to make my next payment?
Right.
So that's been coming, and this is a way to kind of answer that. But again, in full disclosure, we are not attorneys. We are not CPAs. We are not congressional representatives.
And on top of that, what we're going to do is everything that we're getting, that we're saying, going to be saying on this podcast, is coming from the CFPB CARES Act site. Well, their information page. Mm-hmm. And so if you Google CFPB CARES Act, this page will be the first thing that will show up. And we'll put it in the show notes, the link actually to this. And everything that we're repeating is really in this, but we're just going to be giving our thoughts on it, just in layman's terms.
Yeah. Okay. So can I just start off by this, or just start off by saying, and Ed, I'm going to turn it over to you, is that first and foremost, there is nothing in this act that is a monetary gift giving to any mortgage holder. There is going to be, there is no forgiveness. There's going to be some leniency that we're going to talk about, but there's nothing in it that says you don't have to make a payment and you're never responsible for it again. So if we were, parents sitting around a table and someone said, "Hey, Dad, what does this mean?" First and foremost, there's nothing free in this. There will be money coming through other avenues. It will not be coming through what we're talking about. So first and foremost, there's nothing free.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're watching and you're wondering, is there a way for me not to make my mortgage payment and never make my mortgage payment? No. You will owe that mortgage payment. Basically, and we can get right into it.
Mm-hmm. And actually, can I just jump in there? The reason why you're going to eventually owe it is because of the domino effect or the ramifications on down the line. If for some reason, Congress had said you don't have to, do you know how many people down that line would be affected? So all they're trying to do is induce some relief, but there is no forgiveness. Again, just because of what would happen downstream. There's so many people that rely upon your mortgage payment. So
yeah. What the CARES Act is trying to do is anyone who's been to school has basically had their student loans. There was a forbearance period, right? Remember when you went to school, you had student loans, but you didn't start making payments on them right until after you graduated. That's usually how a lot of most student loans work. Forbearance is not a good thing, but this is how the act basically handles the mortgages during this time of the coronavirus starting now. Now, as of this recording, this is April 1st, but basically starting March 18th, the law is allowing borrowers to contact their servicers and ask for forbearance. And forbearance is basically just pushing back or delaying those payments up to 180 days. Okay.
So and when you say March 18th, even though the act was just passed a couple of days ago, you're saying that there was some retrospect.
As of 60 days after March 18th, the act prohibits lenders and servicers from beginning any foreclosure. Okay. That's the March 18th. That's the relevance of that day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for 60 days, banks cannot begin the foreclosure process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the first item. The second item is that the CARES Act allows borrowers to contact their servicers for a forbearance up to 180 days.
So probably the most important part before we even talk any further is this is not an automatic of forbearance. You don't automatically fall into a category where you're not obligated to pay. You have to actually contact the servicer, and you have to request the ability to fall within this particular group. You have to request it.
Yes, so, and as far as we know, the law does not specifically state that we're aware of that banks are obligated to grant the request for the forbearance. It doesn't say anywhere that they have to. It's basically you have a right to request. That's it. Like the bank can say no.
Okay. All right. That part I wasn't aware of. But the most important part is there's nothing automatic. So you have to be proactive.
Right.
You have to call the servicer. And what I always say is when in doubt, do without. If you don't have any permission, if you don't have clarity in the subject matter, make your payment. Make your payment until you are certain, and I'm assuming it would be in writing that they would get it from their servicer, potentially something.
Right.
So when in doubt, do without. Make your payment until you have confirmation from your servicer that you do fall within this actual bucket. Okay, so if you fall into this actual bucket, Ed, so what happens next? How long potentially can they go without having to make a payment?
It's 6 months. Okay, potentially 6 months.
Holy cow!
That is a long time.
Now, is it up to 6 months or is it?
It's actually up, right? Correct. It's up to you're basically requesting your bank. You can request up to 180 days of forbearance, up to.
Okay.
And it does state that they have the right to request an extension for another 180 days. Again, these are requests to the bank. And there's another part of this that says if you are granted the forbearance, so if, big word, right? The operating there. If you are granted, so basically you're going to ask if they let you may be able to delay your payments for 6 months. Now, can you imagine after 6 months of forbearance, you will have a large payment. If your payments are $2,000 a month, you will owe what is that, $12,000?
Yeah, $12,000. So if you had trouble making those payments, when they were due, imagine what it's going to be like when they actually come due after the forbearance is over. So we are not treading on this lightly. We think this is a very substantial situation that borrowers may put themselves in. Again, if you're needing the relief and needing the help, the CARES Act does address this. So do your research and look at it, but please be double cautious. Double confirm everything before you actually, take advantage of anything in that act. Now, Ed, we also were aware of some potential scams that we wanted to make our borrowers aware of, right?
Right. And can I just say something real quick, just to clarify?
Yeah.
I was saying that if you are not granted a forbearance 60 days after March 18th, so that would be May 18th.
Mm-hmm.
According to this, basically after May 18th, if you are not granted a forbearance, the bank can start foreclosure.
Okay. I mean, if you're not granted it, you probably would fall into the original kind of foreclosure proceedings, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and also it may not be just, 180-day chunks or 6-month chunks. It could, again, I did not read the details of it, but you could be granted,
30 days or
something less than, yes. So double check. Okay. Scams. What do our borrowers need to be aware of? We have very trusting, very loving borrowers out there. We get calls all the time. And they say, is this true or is that true? And it's like, thank you so much for calling us, because no, that is not true. Do not give them your bank account. Your servicer would not transfer your account in such a manner, or you're not having to, prepay an escrow account. Do not, give them access to your checking account.
Yeah, that's right. The only person you want to talk to in a case like this is someone who's an attorney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's an attorney is giving you advice. That's one,
right?
One option that you could go through. But you want to talk to your bank. Your bank is the one. If you get a call from someone who says, "Yes, we help people we've been helping people during the COVID-19 coronavirus, crisis,
mm-hmm.
save their homes." Right. That person is probably a scammer.
Right. And one of the big red flags is if they call you, you can simply write their number down, get their name and their company, and then you can do some research. And if they are who they say they are, you should be able to find their number on the web.
Right.
Call them. You be the initiator. So if you're, and it's happened to me, I'm talking to someone and I start to get my information. I'm like, wait a minute, who called who? I'm like, they called me. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Mm-hmm. So anyway, okay. So what are the scams?
So another scam, very common, in fact, during the Great Recession 10 years ago, really is that people will call, people can call you and you'll be, they'll say, we have a way that we help people. We're going to have you do not have to make your mortgage payments. All you have to do is sign over a couple pieces of paperwork and we'll process it. What they'll probably be doing in that case is what you'll be signing is a deed transferring your ownership of your home to them. Now, remember, you probably have equity in your home, so they don't care about your mortgage payment. They probably care about the equity.
Right.
So, and having that ownership. So do not, they call these deed scams. They'll basically have you sign over the ownership. You still are on the hook for the mortgage. Do not do anything like that.
Right. Okay. The second scam, I think, would be the one where they call up and say, do not make any mortgage payments. We're going to help you get your loan modified.
Oh, yes, that's right.
There's nothing in the CARES Act that talks about a loan being modified, at least at this time. There may be future, amendments down the road, but right now there's nothing saying your loan can be modified. That is what I think a lot of people are hoping that this act says, but it does not. It flat out does not.
It's a great point. There's no modification in this act. It's not saying that you can go to if your bank tells you you can, okay, fine.
Right.
But the act does not force banks to modify.
Right. And remember, the only way you're going to listen to your bank is by what? By calling them. You be the
initiator or
initiator and then actually, knowing the representative that you talk to and that you get that, because that may be the case. I highly, highly doubt it because we've heard nothing of that sort. But okay, so number one, do not sign deeds over. Number two, there is nothing in the act that talks about any loan modifications. There's another one, right?
Did you ever say that if people who will call and charge upfront fees to solve the problems?
No, we have not said that yet.
It's just a big red flag. No one should be calling you saying we offer this awesome service and only for $5.99
Right.
You know,
Right. Remember,
we'll make all these problems go away.
Right. The CARES Act is there to actually help you not have to make a payment. So if someone calls and says, hey, we need a payment, it's like, oh, that's kind of the opposite of CARES. So anyway, yes, red flag. You're not going to be handing over bank accounts or having to write a check, even if it's a small one. Okay. Well, I know that this has probably been going on a little bit. Anything else?
I think those kind of cover like the basic scams. Now, do we want to talk about what to do once they've received a mortgage relief? I mean, basically, making sure they have their documentation, keep it on hand.
Right. Definitely. Keep it on. Yeah. How about also credit? How does it affect credit? Because if they are approved for a forbearance,
right,
and
the late payments will not report to their credit bureaus,
which is a which is a huge thing. So if you do this appropriately, any payments that would not be made under the forbearance provision would not get reported to the credit bureaus. But now, again, remember,
we do not know how this is going to affect how we do mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you may not see a late payment, if we don't see that you've made payments and you come to us in a couple months and ask for a refinance, or you sell your home, if we can't account for certain payments, we really don't know that answer.
Right.
Even though the credit report will not show you late,
mm-hmm.
that's what we don't know. We don't know how that's going to affect you.
Okay. Well, I think that these are very unprecedented times. I don't need to state the obvious, but people may be scared out there. So just make sure you take an extra minute or two, check with some friends, check with some family members, give us a call and say, you know what, I'm thinking about doing this. Does this make sense? We'll be glad to say, you know what, I think you're on the right track, or boy, I'm glad you called because that just doesn't sound right.
Absolutely. Give us a call someone you trust, anyone, and we'll be happy to help as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to everyone out there. Godspeed to do a recovery on multiple fronts.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
And hopefully the next time.
Yeah.
This is gone, because it means we're in the clear.
We pray that this coronavirus goes away as soon as possible.
Okay.
So, we're going to do our next update will probably be about other CARES Act initiatives that are in there. So anyway, stay tuned.
Okay. We'll see you, folks.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Mortgage Brothers Show. Please let us know if you have any questions you'd like us to answer on this podcast. You can email your questions to tom@azmortgagebrothers.com or yours truly at eddie@azmortgagebrothers.com. And be sure to ask us for a free quote on your next mortgage. Tom and I will personally work with you and help you through the whole process. Signature Home Loans, LLC does not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Signature Home Loans, NMLS 1007154, NMLS number 210917 and 1618695, Equal Housing Lender.